So, hello and welcome, everyone. We have another special episode of All Access for you tonight, in light of this new edition that is coming very, very shortly. I am honored here to be joined by Phil, and later on we will have both Tector and Galentio joining us in the conversation about. And just also for clarity, before I give the mic to you, Phil, is we're probably going to be focusing mainly on League thing. There's a lot of people who've talked about a lot of the other stuff, but we'll be focusing on the League stuff, which Phil has been kind enough here to sort of post on our Discord. All questions are of course welcome, and hello and welcome, Phil.
Hello. This is very exciting. I'm very excited about it. I don't know about everyone else. Obviously, kind of everyone gets their starter sets in a couple of weeks, and a lot of it has been leaked, but I suspect there's still some nuggets of stuff that can be discovered in the rule book. But yeah, as Archangel said, thing that we want to focus on really is League. I think we're a little bit behind the curve on this one. I've seen a number of kind of the regular streamers that you see have done some things on this already. So we thought we'd look at this, from a League perspective. So whether that's tabletop or Blood Bowl 3, and then obviously look at sort of how that's going to affect the UKBBL, maybe going forwards, not in terms of like how it will affect our rules, but maybe more kind of what we'll expect to see as kind of like the meta. What teams are we going to see dominate in the Prem? So yeah, looking really looking forward to this one. Been looking forward to it all day.
Yeah, I've so I and the funny thing is, in the wake of our last episode, there was a discussion about like, would we have enough material to do another show? And I was like, nah. And then a couple of days after, it's like, oh, the whole book is here now. We're almost not too late. So it's sort of funny, like how quickly things change, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I will also say that Archangel's under special orders that he's got to be positive today. He's not allowed to be a grumpy old man.
so I'm only semi
I, I've, I've,
old and
I've,
semi grumpy.
I've used my commissioner whip here to basically say you can't just sit there and moan about all the things that you'd
No,
like.
no,
This is
I
the rule
think I
set
think
we've
also,
got.
especially if we're focusing on the league stuff, I'm generally positive about most things. There are still certain things that I'm sad about what we're doing for league. Um, no, Splicky, you're not the only one. I also don't have gotten a
Yeah.
rule book either, but soon, hopefully.
So we do have Statman Gav, who I've got on the DMs ready to ask any particular questions if I need them. I haven't got mine either. I've got mine pre-ordered at the lovely Aardvarks and Dragons in Woodbridge. Please buy your stuff from them. If you don't want to buy your stuff from them, you can always go to Tabletop Republic in High Wycombe, who are also brilliant. They have not paid me to say that, but I know that they're great. So if you're in the area and you don't know about them, Arvarts and Dragons in Woodbridge and Tabletop Republic in High Wycombe. There's also been some lovely things that's just come up on the screen that talks about the change. So while we kind of wait for Galentio, we've kind of got a couple of minutes. I want to invite the chat really to come in about here and more about the tournament. Is there teams in this rule set that you've looked at so far that you've gone, this team is going to be dropping down those NAF rankings? Is there any teams that you think are going to be climbing? Are there any teams that you think are going to make a bit of a splash that maybe has gone under the radar as well?
Did the reader?
It'd be nice to kind of see that. I think there's been some great videos done by Mr. Andy Davo about Euroball rule sets. So I wonder whether, if you were predicting the future, what do you think is, before like rule sets are going to come up, what are probably going to be the top considerations for those people who are into their tournaments? And maybe we can come back to that if we have some time. But as I say, we'll focus on the league. It sounds like we might have had a fourth arrival, and we can get this show on the road. Hello, Galentio.
Greetings, gentlemen.
Greetings.
What's up?
And also greetings to Tector, who's been here for quiet in the background.
Yeah, hello everyone. I actually think Skyrim will drop hard in tournaments. They have to be down at least one tier with a loss of two gutter runners.
Yeah, I think Skaven is definitely not gonna. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how many not gonna the rat ogres who's gonna get break tackle and get +3 and how that how that will pan out.
We can also talk about some other things as well that might be tasty for a rat ogre that we discovered this evening. So should we just kind of start with and Archangel usually has some lovely slides and things. We're currently looking at Mark and La Prout beat 7 bells out of each other.
So if we should we start with looking at some rosters, if that's changes to rosters or what?
Well, it was the first thing we wanted to look at is just kind of general changes. So this was I picked out some things that we might have thought about. So I think the first thing that probably I'd want to talk about is the changes to the skills. So there's been a lot of changes to how the skills work. We've had some additional ones added. We've had a whole new section of skills also added. I don't know whether Archangel's got this one up on the picture, but I'm going to try and find it. So
I have all the skills here and the difference listed here. So
yeah, fantastic. So yeah, we've got all of the devious skills. So we've had things like Dirty Player and Sneaky Git been moved out of the general and agility trees respectively, and we've had essentially a new set of skills added into devious, quick fouls, put the boot in, lethal flight. There's some really nice ones in there. Fumblerooski's been moved from passing into devious. Maybe that's good for Elven Union because they don't have access to. There's some giggling in the background because I think they know the answer to that question. Yeah, Fumblerooski obviously moved in there. So obviously we've got 4 skills now that have been changed to elite skills, and these skills are going to cost an extra 10k. So those are going to be block, they're going to be guard, they're going to be mighty blow, and they're going to be dodge. And I'm going to start off with, sort of who's doing well out of this, and this is going to become a theme for this evening. I think the big winners of these changes are elves. So obviously, if you're building an Elven roster, probably the thing that you're going to be taking first is dodge on a lot of your players, at least the ones who don't start with it. So you're going to pay a little bit extra for those ones. Okay, that's fine. But then, I mean, you just look at the way I build my Dark Elves. So things like sidestep, and then we take, diving tackle, and we might take fend and things like that. Tackle, obviously. So none of these obviously have that premium on, apart from the dodge. Whereas you've got a load of skills that obviously now some teams have relied on stacking mass across the board. And you could take, for example, we'll use orcs because the horriblest orc coach in the league is sitting in this chat with us. If you can block spam, guard spam, and then mighty blow spam across the board, that team has gone from being horrible but low TV, or kind of middle TV, to horrible and high TV. So at least you're kind of giving something away. And also the changes to randoms, which I think has probably been the best change they have made. I think I'm at odds with some I play in 2 local leagues. One of my local leagues, I think, is a big fan of the lower team value for randoms. I think that is the best change that they've made. You're going to stop You're going to stop seeing people, again, not looking at anyone in particular, building rosters that have extremely cheap players with extremely horrible skills. I'm not going to say gives them an unfair advantage because, everyone can do it. Everyone can pick a certain team and random until they hit something good. But it definitely gives that team an edge. So I like the change to the randoms. That would be my kind of opening remarks in sort of a league setting. You're going to see team values climb. Elves have done well out of a lot of the big changes, I think. And there's been some interesting changes made to the the team special rules. I really love Brawling Brutes. I think that's a fantastic little addition. And I think there's some rosters that are going to do very well out of that get kind of cut back by redraft, which hasn't changed. So I've spoken for a couple of minutes. I'll let someone else come in and digest that.
I was going to say, from those stabs, I think I'll take over here. So I think the best change of all the things that are coming in the new edition is the fix of TVs for random. I think that is the most important change. I think the second most important is what I will call the bashing tax, because basically all the things that make your team bashable have now become more expensive. I'm slightly sad about what they've done to that agility somehow got cheaper, but that's a small thing, and I'll gladly eat that for getting all the other things that we are getting. I think definitely the randoms now being, let's call it, full price and fixed, is definitely going to inflate team values. The elite tax, bashing tax, is definitely going to drive team values up. So it's going to be, and also because if I'll change that to intelligence, the cost of getting skills is going to get cheaper. So you're going to get more skills also. So again, team value is going to go up. I think team values is, especially in perpetual leagues, going to be something to really keep an eye on, because we also getting more and new cheaper inducements, which is going to have a, so to say, secondary effect. But if we just focus on the skills, I think definitely the fix, and I think, in all fairness, for the softer teams, being Ls or any of the others, the tax on Mighty Blow, Block, and Guard is going to really be felt, and also make the whole throwing the ball, dodging, maybe not dodging because it's also suffering a little bit of attacks, but like the more playing the ball game side more competitive, because you're not going to suffer the same TV penalty. Yeah, that's at least my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely going to be less card around.
Oh yeah.
In like access and the rosters themselves. Like, you can have a bunch of guards one season, but you're going to get absolutely wrecked by redraft right after. It's like 30k per guard. It stacks up. If you have like 8 guard, it's like 80k more TV. I have a list of things. You mostly talked about the main points. The randoms don't save TV anymore. That's huge. And not as much of an impact as someone said in the chat for stunties, because stunties now have primary access to Devious most of the times. So, so they'll instead of randoming, they'll just take Dirty Player outright, for example.
Yeah.
Brawling Brutes will make orc teams way more vertical. Like previously, if you weren't too lucky on the bash side, you would have like a super runner or a super blitzer. Now you have a super Vashier players that every cast they get, they almost alpha level.
Yeah.
And after like a game or two, you already have bonker players.
I think
I like the elite skills change.
I think definitely the brute, the one that changes the start player points. I can't remember what it's called, but the one you mentioned. I think especially for something like Big Guns is going to be a huge difference, because Big Guns was really hard to level because you just didn't score that many goals with them, right? I think it's sort of a shame that maybe something like Saurus's also didn't get that sort of help, but I can see why. Though,
Yeah, it's a bit weird, that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Well, I think
Uh,
SPP is kind of a bigger thing, and I think there's two things that before I hand back to Galentio is to mention is so obviously the way that MVPs have changed. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
you're selecting 6 players, and so
That's huge.
if you don't get the casualties, for example, on those big uns who've got Mighty Blow, you can just whack them in as one of your 6. I also think there's a lot of teams that don't have 6 positionals, so you're going to have linemen.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to put them into for an MVP, there's a good argument that actually you could go if you have a look at actually some of those. Again, I'm thinking with an elven hat on. I'm not sure, Archangel, if you're able to go back to that list of randoms.
Yes.
I think I picked up on there that you're able actually to do kind of 2 random rolls. I think that's right.
Yes, you
Yes,
roll
2d6s.
So you've got 2 choices, which is wonderful. But also, I'm now looking down the list, and at least on the general access, there isn't a lot of like duff choices now. There's nothing on there that I go, oh yeah, that's a pretty terrible choice. So I think it would be one of if my MVP fell onto a lineman that I really didn't want, I'd go, okay, well we'll spend that straight away and see whether we can get something quickly, because you're right. I think some teams are going to spiral quite quickly, and if we can get something like wrestle on them or tackle on them or even sure hands, I think there's a lot of skills that actually go down the list and go, well, there's nothing on there that actually I go, that's a horrible choice and I'm going to sack them over it.
Probably only sure hands and fans and dauntless, depending on the team. Those are like the 3 worst, and from that is only up. So yeah.
I think there's.
Um,
I think the double rolling is definitely a huge like the whole discussion in the old days, let's call it that, the current version, right, is that like what are you supposed to get instead if random wasn't half price, which I think is a horrible solution. I think the fact that they're now still cheaper, but you also get to pick between 2, and the list being, how to say, more fairly balanced. I think it's hard to really imagine any of the list and like you have to be really badly unlucky, but of course that can happen, right?
is it picking 2? Because you roll the first d6 and then you roll the second inside that one.
You roll twice. You roll 2d6 and then you roll another 2d6.
Yeah. So
yes, so there's an example on the rule book that says
Hmm.
Dan's taken a random primary for one of his halfling hopefuls. How many people are going to be playing that apart from Bush Ranger? And has chosen agility category. His first roll is a 4 and his second roll is a 2. And then for his second roll, he rolls a 3 and then a 5. So you do
I didn't
2
realize
sets
that.
of 2d6.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
I am
I think that's
unclear.
really cool.
I'm unclear if we get to reroll if it's roll the same one. So if I roll like frenzy twice,
Probably yes.
probably
I
would
would
imagine so.
say
I
yes.
suspect there's probably a clarification in the rule book if you kind of roll both of them,
But
or maybe it's a case of it's just kind of like, oh, you rolled 2 things, and sucks to be you. You've got a choice of frenzy or nothing.
You get double
so
wrestle.
I reckon that's probably what they've done. So chat says they think you have to take it. So if you get the same thing, you have to take it. That's what.
yeah, it's a 1 in 12.
So.
What more? One thing that might affect progression in UKBBL is stats are cheaper now.
Yeah.
Stats require less SPP to take.
Yeah.
And the counterpart is that you can't get guaranteed movement or armor. They are in separate rolls. You can roll for stats and not even get movement or armor on the choices. So those ball carriers that were like movement 8 or 9, that I'm partially also guilty of, can't happen as often, or it's harder to make them happen without random stats, basically.
So again, I haven't seen the the table. But yeah, I had incorrectly put that the characteristic improvements or the star player points were the same costed. They do look cheaper, I think, because it was something like 16, 20, 28, something like that. They actually got quite expensive.
I have the table here. One, you roll a d8. One is a V. Two is a V or passing. 3, 4, it's a V, movement and passing. 5 is movement or passing. 6 is agility or movement. 7, agility or strength. And 8, you can choose any. And you can take a secondary or primary if you don't like the stat.
That's good. And what are the costs on that?
We have strength has gone down to 60k TV from 80. Agility, I think it was 60 or 40, went down to 30 now. It's 30k for agility. I think that's big. And the rest stay the same. AV is 10, movement is 20, passing is 20.
Elves laughing to the bank with their 1+ witch elves dodging onto your side cage. Another thing that
We're
I
going to
think
see a
elves
new
do
age of
quite well
stats,
at.
I think.
100%. And actually, that was something I missed from these last 5 years. Apart from movement and agility, I think those were the only two we were really seeing. Unless, of course, you're Archangel and you take armor, because why wouldn't you?
And lots of it.
It's fun at parties.
Or you've got a skink who rolls into strength, and you think, oh, that'll be a laugh to have a strength, and fair play to Snow Troll for running a
Strength 5 stars.
Skink and a Saurus. That's right.
Speaking of special players, and a change that might also help them is that the injury table got less harsh.
Yeah.
Now I have a 50% chance that it's a body hurt. Only after 8 or 9 that you get MNGs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's also I think will keep certain teams in the league, or at least in the running for titles in their divisions, because in the current rule set you can, if you have a particularly bad game, you could be missing 3 or 4 key players after one game, and you're then really struggling because you're then playing with 11. My seasons in the Prem usually define on how my first game goes, because I usually run with 11. If I get lots of horrible injuries, I have a really bad season. If my first game goes okay and I'm able to keep all my players on the pitch, I can usually get 12, and then the season goes a bit better. But yeah, it's with that's actually another change that I like, because it will keep your players playing.
I think that change to that injury table, combined with the change that Mighty Blow is going to be a much rarer. It's not going to go away, but it's going to be a rare instance because of that extra cost, right? Just looking at, for example, the Chaos team was playing here, right? Like there's 3 Mighty Blows at 30k on top of. You might just settle for 2, right? So I think the widespread usage of a lot of damage is going to be more specialized down to a few players, and that's going to make less damage. Combined with the new injury table, less damage, meaning that especially the more fragile teams like Skaven, Elves, similar teams are not going to struggle the same way of tail spinning. Like, it was a common instance in league play for Skaven to get to a certain point and then just collapse on themselves because the injuries would stack over time, right? And they would just fall apart.
Yeah. I think if we remember a few seasons ago, Hillenick had a really good Skaven side, just really suffered from attrition.
Yeah.
Because things were just dying left, right, and centre.
Exactly.
And,
do you really want to start talking about Skaven?
Well, it's probably one of the teams we'll come on to. So I wonder whether actually we go to Tector on this next one. So I think we worked out we had about 20 minutes, I think, on each thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a bit producer-esque here. So obviously there's teams that have been changed. We've obviously got 30 of them. It's pretty obvious that we're going to be getting new teams. This game feels very supported. So we're going to get some new ones. So of the teams that have been basically put into Blood Bowl 2025, the team that you feel have got the greatest buff in league format. So not NAF or tournament style. So the teams that you think have got the greatest buff in league format with the changes that you've seen. So I'll invite you guys to come in. Maybe Tector can kick us off. What things?
Yeah.
What team do you think has got the greatest buff?
I actually think it's Goblins.
Goblins.
Everything that I've seen, Goblins got a lot better. Like, they're still not a tier 1 team, but relatively they've been buffed by a lot. Secret weapons no longer preventing you from using stunty for dodging, and devious access on every player. It's huge.
I also think the removal of Loner on the Trolls is gonna, like that's always been, like, I always felt it was sort of fair that they had Loner, like fluff-wise. From a tactical point of view, I hated it. So the fact that they are not Loners anymore is huge.
Yeah.
And don't forget the fact that you now can 3+ dodge into a cage with a chainsaw.
Yes.
Secret weapon doesn't cancel stunty on dodge anymore.
No, and
So yeah.
Well, what's it? We said the new agility is 30. So if you start put that on it, you have a 2+ dodging chainsaw cage diving. Good luck stopping that. I think he might have a short life though.
Also, swoop has changed.
Oh yeah, swoop.
How much are the chainsaws?
The chainsaws are the same as Goblins, 40k.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you could be replacing them almost every game.
Yeah.
Well, you say that.
Format.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the rules now forbid you from firing players at will.
I had not noticed that.
Yeah.
I hadn't
There's
seen
a
that.
protocol, so you have to first fire players, but you cannot fire players that puts you below 11. And only after that you hire new players, get journeymen, and so on.
Wow.
So it's going to be hard sometimes to replace positionals. Not for Goblins, because Goblins will have 11. But for a lot of teams, it's going to be hard if it's not.
Oh yeah, that's a really big.
Can you explain that rule one more time? Because I had not seen that.
1 second. Can you open JLeaf document maybe?
If you send it on Discord, I can put it on the stream.
Yeah, 1 second.
I sent to you on DM from those 2 documents.
No, I have to find so many chat windows. There we go. Someone sent something.
Yeah, that's it.
I like that we started off behind the scenes saying like that we are not a professional show, and this is just a perfect example. Where do I find that?
We'll do this for free in the love of the game.
Yeah,
and hopefully, I think we've had some new people watching and some new people come into the league. So all these things are good stuff, and hopefully we get some people back who have been playing with us before. Here's looking at you, Evie.
Yeah.
And more rules as written, you have to hire players before you fire them. So if you have a chainsaw and it's MNG, you can't just fire your chainsaw.
Okay.
You have to hire a new one first.
Okay.
Wow. So they have to die. Basically, they have to die.
No.
Well, they have to die, or you have to spend 1 game without a positional.
I see. Okay.
So basically, if I have a match where my star blitzer what answer goes MNG, I will beat that positional down next game, regardless of what I do, right? Like, okay, I might make it mercenary, but other than that, I'm not being able to, because he would be MG. I can fire him. The spot will then be open, or I can have to I can't really replace him right. Otherwise,
Oh, yeah. There might be an option that in the rulebook they allow you to go with positional limit in this section, right?
okay.
That's the only thing that explains
Yeah,
it. But
it'd be interesting to see how Blood Bowl 3 enacts that, because I mean, I think, to be fair, the order of the post-match sequence is in the rule book. I don't know whether, like, Blood Bowl 3 actually, even for the Blood Bowl 2020 rule set, does it exactly. I know my tabletop league that I play for in Norwich, they run it as you have your steps that you follow, and so once you've done that step, you can't go back and do it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the implementation is on Blood Bowl 3, because obviously that's a big change.
Yeah, I think actually that is one of the things I'm a little bit sad about the game, which is that you can keep making changes like up to the very last second the game starts. Even if once you've been invited in the game, you can still change your order even if you've been invited, which I think is a horrible thing. But that's a game mechanic issue and not a rule book issue.
Yeah, I think they did those changes to be more user friendly on the,
Oh yeah,
the game.
yeah. But in competitive play, it's a real issue. At least, especially in league format. Like in that style, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just want to check, because Gav's in the chat. So because we're obviously focusing on the league. This is our league. It's tournament style, yeah. So your 4 max elite skills is for tournament. So good news for the UKBBL. You can still take as much block, guard, mighty blow, and dodge as you like. It'll just cost you a pretty penny.
Ain't even a progression. The block spam might not be a thing anymore. Block is expensive now.
Yeah, I see lots of people moving towards wrestle.
Yeah.
Everyone will just move over to wrestle, and again, I think this comes back to a theme I said would be developing. Teams that do very well out of wrestle is elves. So if you're getting them to play from the floor, that allows you to exploit the space with your fast players. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll come back to Gav's comment about lizards look super dangerous for elves. We can have a little look at it. But Galentio, what is your team that you think has had the biggest buff?
The biggest one, I'm undecided, but for progression, for if you're talking late TV monsters, Nurgle. Nurgle is you're gonna play against me and I'm gonna have fun and you're not gonna have fun. Because you're gonna have suddenly you have bloaters with the foul appearance, stand firm, that can take like Arnard skin or stuff like that. And then you have the beast with pick me up, so you can bring the guy down, do nothing, or even just roll foul appearance. And even if you bring him down with stand firm, he can still come back up on a 5+ to beat you again. So have fun with that. The Pestigors got a lot better. The Rotters are a bit more expensive, but have Devious. So expect a bunch of dirty player, eye gouge, shadowing Rotters. That's also going to be fun. Now imagine playing against a 1600 or 1700 Nurgle team stacked with skills.
It's going to be a nightmare.
And have fun.
I think I really like this in terms of, I think Nurgle have really suffered in the last 5 years with their players were horrifically expensive. If you ran a redraft, they get all of their good players cut, particularly if you do it rulebook 1400, 20k per season. Nurgle get really horrible to keep running. There's some other teams that do this. So I like that they return to their moment in the sun, and obviously Nurgle have a history in the UKBBL of doing very well, and I know that that's down to CPOM monsters of the past, but it would be good to at least kind of see them winning maybe a different way, just being a really horrible control team rather than just kill everything.
But
And just MVPs, you can pick the best decors and the bloaters to get MVP every game.
yeah, I think, and this goes not only just
Very
for the Nurgle team, but also for the Chaos team and a lot of the other, let's all say, Bash reliant teams. It's sort of interesting to see that their prices have come down a fair bit, not a lot, but a fair bit, to somewhat, I think, compensate for the elite cost skills. But like, if you just look at a classic Nurgle team, right, you would have 4 times block and at least 5 times guard on your bloaters and rot spawns, right? Like that's 80k alone there in elite tax. That's not including on the mighty blow that they probably have on top of that, right? So as much as they have gotten a lot of things, and I think maybe a little bit too much, but it'll be really interesting to see, because bloaters with wrestle, that's going to be a really interesting thing to play with. Bloaters without guard, they're going to struggle against bash teams because you don't have them.
Bloaters with wrestle that get up on pick me up.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna.
The pick me up. So like that's
It's a weird.
I'm assuming that's kind of like the Garden of Nurgle sort of thing, you know, sort of the disease of the plague god, you know, sort of raising his followers from the floor.
Yeah,
I quite like that. If they've got it thematically, it was obviously written for Norse, but I like that as like a theme anyway. That like Papa Nurgle just loves his people. Get up.
It's definitely
spread the love.
It's definitely going to put a big "put me on the ground" sign on the Rustborn, because it won't work if he's on the ground.
Yeah, 100%. I think I know what your pick is, Archangel, for your team, because I think you mentioned it. So what was your big buff?
I think it might just also be me hoping, but I'm actually considering like All World Alliance, because the again, removing of the loner skills, huge buff in that sense, right? The fact that you now get to much more have a versatile and complete, like the blockers of Dwarf blockers get block, the human blitzer gets tackle, and team value wise, it's actually cheaper now than it used to be, and they got a lot of upgrades in that sense. So I think it's a shame that Wardolf, I was going to say, played in this version, because I think they will be quite competitive in the new version. I think they're going to still suffer the same, let's call it, narrow bandwidth that Renegades and Underworld has, in the sense that you only have one of each positional, so you better be a little bit lucky and use them well. I think it's going to be really huge. Also, the loss of animosity. There is teams with animosity. There is, for example, Underworld still has it. They don't like goblins, giving the ball to goblins, apparently. Guess Renegades might also have. I don't remember.
Chaos Renegades, I think, has it on everybody.
Yeah, Chaos
So
Renegades
it's
and Underworld.
all teammates.
Yeah, but isn't it just for the... No, they just have pure. Okay. Then who was that has it for goblins? It's the Underworld, sorry. Yeah, that's Underworld. They don't like goblins.
The Chaos Renegade. The Chaos Renegades are that team in the drowning meme, where they are in the bottom of the pool because everyone forgot about them.
Yeah.
They weren't the team that forgotten about. They were not the team that forgotten about.
Well, they were
Those
one of the least changes in terms of
sweet little, halflings The lovely little halflings. I don't think they got anything.
The halflings basically just got the big boot. That's,
Yeah,
halflings.
I really like Old World Alliance.
Yeah.
I think they are now actually playable.
I think they're going to be really competitive.
I think
They're
so.
the
I mean,
best human.
Yeah.
oh yeah, by I reckon
Outright.
by distance.
Not even close. Imperial nobility might get close.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and they get one human catcher with movement 8 dodge. Like you could save up and put break tackle on, but it's probably more cost effective to then save up for getting agility and try and make that agility 2+. That's probably better.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably come on to the Dwarf Blitzers, but I love the Dwarf Blitzer. They're probably one of the, I mean, they're the most exciting player change, I think. The Dwarf Blitzer looks really good. Block, diving, tackle, and thick skull. There's a lot to like on that roster, and the fact that the dwarves have now got block as well instead of having brawler. They did not change their price. They basically took away brawler, gave them block, and took away their loner, which was great. Before we come on to some of the chats ones, because a couple of teams have been mentioned. My one, and I'm going to go a little bit more left field, I think is Woodies. I think they've had a bit of a buff as well.
I agree.
So my argument for this is the fact that their linemen have been made slightly cheaper. So, I mean, I'm just thinking from a starting roster perspective, you usually take, well, I would take 2 war dancers, the 9 linemen, and I can't remember whether it's 2 or 3 rerolls in that normal 1,000 TV start. Now you've gone and saved 45k on that. So you're almost at the ability to save up for things. The catchers now have an sprint as standard, so you can give them sure feet. Even if you took just 1, it's closer to a 1 turn than it was. The war dance has gone up by 5k. Okay, so what? But the fact that they've changed the injuries means that your war dancers are less likely to be missing your game. You can't. I don't think you can play Wood Elf teams without your war dancers, because probably you've got all the skills on them. And I think as well, I had a little look. I think the throwers have also been made cheaper.
Yeah, 10k.
Which is also really good.
So
10k cheaper.
So technically, if you just like look at it from a math, usually you would have at least 2 war dancers. That's 10k. You are now more expensive than the previous. If you take the thrower and you use that, you have already net neutral gained that 10k back. And then you're saving 5k per each lineman. Yeah, that's going to be quite a bit of savings. On top of that, the treeman now gets assistance to get stand up. I think it's huge because it actually makes it a much more valuable choice. The safe hands and the sprint, like you basically sidestep or from being more or less guaranteed that you have a 1-turn touchdown with the catches. So definitely Wood Elves have become much more. And then there's also the whole shift in the meta, in the sense that bashing is going to be much more limited compared to what it is now. The damage is going to be much better.
Yeah.
So I think Wood Elves is actually going to be the new nuisance. Just like Nurgle at one end of the spectrum, I think Wood Elves is going to be on the other end of the spectrum, being a real nuisance too.
I was thought from Progression League that Dark Elves were always a sensible choice because your players would stick around for longer, and if they got injured, they were going to be injured less, and you could probably save up the money to replace them.
Yeah.
Given all the changes in cost, because essentially the Wood Elves have got slightly cheaper. They have got slightly cheaper. The Tree Man's got better. You have clutch plays on passing if you need it. Mm-hmm. So if you're not running a thrower, you can try and throw on a 3+. You probably, if you save up for a reroll, that's a 1 in 9. You don't get it. Yeah. And their players stick around. And you said about, the bashing has been kind of taken away. So you either got 2 choices. You either go full bash and pay the penalty and give give these Wood Elves even more money to spend on their inducements, because I suspect if you're going to be building a Wood Elf team, all your money's going to be going on the War Dancers, a catcher who's a one-turner thrower, and then the linemen are just there to die, basically.
If I understand
So
correctly, right, the passing upgrade is 20k, right? That means if I take a catcher and get a passing upgrade, I basically get a thrower with movement 8 and sprint and the same passing stat. Wow, that's
Yeah.
going to be insane.
It's a bit more expensive than a thrower, but yes.
Yeah, but he also gets dodge and catch and sprint. No passing skill. You're right, Mathemus.
I think Wood Elves are going to be peak Blood Bowl 2 Elves, where a liner
Yeah.
picks up, passes, and
Yeah.
you just run away. Like anyone can pass.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the thing. So in Blood Bowl 2020, I think in league progression, your best bet was probably to play Dark Elves. If you want to play Elves,
Yeah.
you're probably better off playing Dark Elves. I think in Blood Bowl 25, if you want to play Elves until someone's beloved High Elves come out, Gav, you want to play Wood Elves. That's of course if you're wanting to win lots of games, or at least not lose them. Wood Elves are probably going to be the most populous elf side, I would predict.
They're going to be a pain in the butt to deal with.
I think I could be wrong here, but this is my and I'm horrible at predictions. But I think we're going to see that Wood Elves and Dark Elves are going to be more or less at the same level. I think to begin with, the Dark Elves players are going to whine about that their team is so much worse than it used to be. I think they are wrong. Is it as good as it used to be? No, slightly. I think slightly have lost a little bit, but I think they gained more versatility, and I think all over they're still competitive. They're not king of the hill anymore, but they're still definitely competitive. And Wood Elves have sort of come up to the same level. I'm looking forward to play with the new Dark Elves rules.
I will, as soon as I give my blitzers dodge, I'm giving them hit and run, because I think hit and run's just such a good skill. Yeah, so good. Yeah, really good skill.
What do you think about punt?
I think I saw a nice graphic. I think someone put it on Facebook. There's only a set of squares that you can use, and it would be safe that's going to land on the field. I think probably if you wanted to throw the ball up the field, you're probably still better using Hail Mary. Now that Hail Mary has been returned to something that's actually usable.
Punt does not cause turnover.
Yeah. I think Gav was talking about this. He was talking about because Hail Mary now only does the 3 scatters. It doesn't matter whether it's accurate or not. If you've got someone with diving catch, or you've got a couple of diving catch within the vicinity, you're likely going to turn that into a completed pass, and you could now sit your Daka by sitting everyone back, keep your thrower back, and put some disposable line elves in front, and then just Hail Mary up the field. And if they kind of half bite, you can then kind of cage up and run through the gaps and kind of throw it and hand it off. But Hail Mary is going to be a real nasty skill to try and defend against.
Yeah, but Hail Mary is 5+. You don't really need to defend against 5+.
No, it's more the case of because you got rid of that wildly inaccurate, it's only going to scatter 3 times. So
no, it's going to fumble like 4 times out of 6. It's just going to fumble.
So if you take a look at this, that there's 2 elements to it. There is the getting the ball from the thrower up the field. You can get Cannoneer, you can get better passing stats, you have pass skill, you still need the 5+ or 4+ reroll. So the thing that I would probably go for is if you go for the safe pair of hands, that means that in all the cases where you try and you fail, you're still standing with the ball. That means as long as you're hiding behind some linemen, you still can protect the ball carrier. and it will still not be in a dangerous place. If it gets passed on a 5+, like that's like with a reroll, that's 50-50 odds every turn that you can pass it up the field anywhere, and then with the diving tackle that they now come with, I think you're gonna have a much more dynamic like defense that you need to mount against that. Yeah,
Would you safe pair of hands that? If you could safe pair, is that the one that
if
you
you
roll
Safe
then
pass.
you
yeah,
can keep it?
It's
But
not
I
safe
don't
pair
know
hands,
that
it's safe pass.
okay,
safe pass. So you could do Hail Mary with safe pass, and
Yeah.
that would essentially
Yes.
go. It's either going up the field or it's going to stay in your hands.
yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a nice tactic.
Yeah, I think if we just we started off on punt and got a little bit sidetracked. I think I think the most valid use I can sort of see of punt is sort of like if you are doing DACA and you sort of just run up past the defense and you have like two players but you still can't really protect it, you can basically just punt it up the field and be like, yeah, now it's definitely out of your reach, and next turn I will just stretch out and pick it up from the ground further up the field. I see that most likely as the most common sort of
Yeah.
theme in as part of a DACA play somewhere, or you already get some players up the field, but you just need to like really get that ball further up. It's going to be a niche thing, but I think it's going to be useful.
I think I see a lot more people running double runners.
Oh yeah,
to be honest. Might be a little bit more people returning to the
Some people
passing.
say that runner is useless, basically. But those are also dark elf coaches that might be going through Copian. So
oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I also
I think probably those coaches are the ones who don't play Wood Elves or Elfin Union. They're not used to their players having A+ armor.
so I think
Possibly.
for Wood Elf, the question was always, are you bringing a treatment or you're not bringing a treatment? That was more or less the defining question of how you played Wood Elf, right? I think the new defining questions about when you play Dark Elves, do you bring runners or not? And there's definitely going to be people who's still going to be that Dark Elves is a running team, and we're going to do handoffs, and that's basically it. And then there's people who are going to go like, yeah, I still see some passing possibilities, but in a different way than Wood Elf. If you want to play passing plays, go for Wood Elves. Definitely. Like that's just going to be a much better passing play type thing. But if you want the flexibility of having both running and throwing, I think Dark Elves might actually still be the better option.
The question of do you bring assassins, I think it's become from a you never take them to you must take them.
Yeah.
I think assassins are they're almost a must-have now. You
With
should probably take one of them.
with Hit and Run, with the new version of shadowing, I will have put it this way: I would really have to see a good reason for not bringing them. Like I can't see why not bringing them.
It's a free
Well,
armor roll in every line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They lost an access to general, so that's one of the reasons not to bring them.
True.
It might become too big of a target. But I would still take them every time.
I would take them because they've now got Hit and Run. If they didn't, I think that was the main thing that put me off taking assassins in the 2020 rule set was if you tried to stab at them and it wasn't successful, they were absolutely getting punched. That is giving my opponents a free opportunity to remove one of the easiest players on my team. So why give that risk? Just not have them on the field and take a lineman instead. But now, yeah, I take them because I can protect them now.
Yeah,
I can keep them on the field.
Header is much better now. So.
There were two teams that came up in the chat which I think people wanted to have a look at. I think Gav wanted to look at. One of them was Skaven. And this was kind of the one that was leaked early, right? So Skaven have only 2 gutter runners now, and they have their blitzers with strip ball and a movement boost. I've tried to speak to some Skaven coaches, and some of them were not happy about losing their gutter runner. I actually think trading 2 gutter runners for a movement 8, armor 9. Blitzer is brilliant, and the Roger being able to take break tackle is just so good. So good.
Yeah. I've
You know,
been the police Tector.
yeah. So the question is, why would you play it again instead of playing Underworld? Because before we had one data runner for Underworld and 4 data runners for Skaven, so they had some identity. But now they're just
It's
dwarves.
very different teams now. I think Underworld has become much more the Skaven of this rule set, and Skaven are going to become something else, more hybrid. I've talked a lot about this with a not well known Skaven coach called Crystal Hunter.
Might have heard of.
Might have heard of him, and
Yeah.
he's positive about the changes.
Really?
He's positive, but he says he's going to have to play Skaven differently, especially regarding the blitzers. Blitzers are going to have to be played differently. They're not the killers anymore. They're kind of a mini, like not as good gutter, but can hunt walls, and the changes to break tackle also help them and stuff like that.
I think
He just
from
hopes that they had the primary mutations, basically.
yeah, I think the way that they used to work Skaven is gone. The aggressive play with basically the gutter runners doing all the work and the blitzes and the radroker for sort of almost a support role, that's over. You can't do that with 2 gutter runs. The strip ball, yeah, it's nice, it helps. The extra movement, sure, definitely helps. I just don't see the blitzers getting to the ball that often. I think I would rather have seen them get break tackle than that extra movement. Make them an actual threat towards the ball carriers. I think it would have been a better option. I also suspect that this website has slight errors in it because I don't seem to remember Skaven rerolls being 70k, and I hope they're not moving to 70k.
I think they
Gav is screaming in that it almost feels like he's screaming.
Oh yeah, they are
break
50k.
tackle is the first skill.
It's
take break
it's a
tackle.
typo.
Oh, definitely, aren't they? But again,
they're 50k.
Yeah. So my concern with taking that as the first kill is always the blitz is always struggle with getting stopper points, and I think that's still going to be an issue because they're on a support role, maybe a little bit more hunting now. But if you go break tackle first, you still don't have tackle. If you don't have guard, you don't have any other sort of means of hunting sort of thing. I think
you're thinking too much about Skaven as a fighty team. Now they're less fighty, more foully because linemen get devious.
Yeah, I think it's more not so much fighting. I never seen Skaven as a brawling team. I more saw them as a sort of a vampire hit and run sort of team where it's like it's all about maximizing those cracks in the opponent's lines and stuff like that. And I think they're going to struggle in that role. It might be compensated for the deviousness. That's definitely a approach that I don't traditionally follow with when I play Skaven. But I think that might be the compensation better than more than anything else.
I have a theory of a Skaven meme team, which I call the knife delivery Skaven, where you take hit and run on the gutter and you blitz, deliver a knife, and go away.
Well, we sort of also back.
I was just going to say, Gav raises another thing, and I was thinking about this earlier. So, Skaven have access to Devious on their clan rats, so their linemen. Yeah. I wonder whether the experience of how people have fouled in this meta that's coming out will actually continue into the next one. And even though Sneaky Git has been nerfed, and we're back to if it breaks armor and you roll a double, you're going to get sent off.
I think fouling is going to be brought back to a more reasonable level. At least in my like it's just purely subjective. Like how much fouling should there be, right? Mm-hmm. I think fouling in 2020 was way too much of a thing because it was with the version of of the sneaky gate there. If you had a lucky run, you could more or less have a whole match fouling every turn, not get sent off. Or you could have it sent off on the first turn, and it would swing violently in that sense, right?
Mm.
Whereas now it's much more of a calculated risk. Like every time that you get a injury, you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting sent off, which is gonna be you're not gonna be fouling with one player throughout the whole match. That's not gonna happen. Well, Nuffle still exists, right? But
Yeah, I think you're forgetting. Another meme combination that I've thought of in Devious is it's basically pile driver and lone faller. So you block someone, you pile someone, you roll armor, then you do lone faller with pile driver, and you roll armor 2 more times. So you can roll 3 times armor on one player.
yeah, but I'm just thinking like the pure cost of that TV wise, like that's
It's
always
40K.
yeah, plus the player, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Just put that
90K.
on us.
And he will now be on the floor whether you succeed or not.
He rolled 3 times the armor.
True. Like you will have a really good chance of breaking people's armor. You get 1 injury roll, more or less guaranteed. But yeah. But it's just a small detail. Like we just talked about like the Dark Elves assassin, right? Like about stab. I like the Gutterun's got stab, but we a little bit like where is the hit and run then? Because we just discussed what is the issue with stabbing and not being able to hit and run, right? So it's all like, yeah, you sort of
Less
forgot.
of an issue.
Yeah,
Less of an issue
It's
for that
a pile
awareness.
driver is a free fall now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like you can pile drive and fall on the same turn.
ah,
I think Mathimus's question was, can you use pile driver and lone fowler together?
Yes.
yes.
As long as you don't have assists on the fall.
There we go.
On the pile driver.
There we go. I think the last one we want to just have a little look at, because this one was also thrown out, and I'm very interested in this because I've said I like elves and I think they're going to be very good. Should we have a look at lizards? Because lizards have also had a nice little change.
Nice little
That's
change.
that's Elven Union. There we go. Lizards. So I think they've had a nice change by adding Juggernaut. I think that's very nice of the developers of the game to give Saurus something to cling on to, that they're.
I feel like
they've
they've
got some
basically done.
reliability on the blitz.
I think they almost done them dirty, just like the pro elves, because in a sense it's sort of like, here's a skill, you might use it sometimes, but most of the times it's useless, and you are suffering for a 5k on top of it. Whereas most of the other players who, like with Chaos, like we talked about Nurgle and Chaos Chosen, right? Like there's a reduction in cost because there's an acknowledgement that, well, blocking guard in Mighty Blow is going to cost. Where's that on the Listen Man team?
I disagree with you completely.
Yeah,
I think Juggernaut is very good on lizards, and they are much better now. And passing access on Chameleon skin is also very nice.
Oh yeah. I think I agree that the skinks have become better. I again, this is me making predictions, so it's probably going to be the opposite, and you're going to be right. But I think Lizardmen are going to struggle overall more than they used to with these changes.
It's just my main issue is when I play lizards, and I play them quite a bit, is when you blitz, you almost always want to push somebody away. And so the worst part is when you go both down, one opponent has stand firm, and you just waste the blitz and you're not moving forward.
Yeah,
And
they are
Juggernaut
the
solves
counter
this.
to the control teams now.
For the meta change of, like, we have teams that can sidestep, then we have grab, we have teams that can dodge, we have had teams that could tackle, and we had teams who could block, and then we had teams who wrestle. Like there was always like a team that was sort of more or less counted. And I do like the fact that we now have a team with mass Juggernaut, because I think that was sort of missing. There was like the power of stand firm was for certain teams maybe a little bit too much. I do think those Listenmen, like if you start adding up like the amount of mighty blows, block, and guard that you would still want to have even at an increased cost, you're gonna have that your Listenman team is gonna be a lot more heavy on TV, a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And I think that is my main concern. Like the
And
upgrades that
bloaty.
they is nice, but I think the TV is gonna kill them. But I could be wrong.
Well, you say that, but guard might not be as important for lizards now because nobody
agree
will
with
take
that.
it in mass amounts. Right?
Yeah.
Lizards
I agree with that.
outstrength pretty much everybody, and the main reason for them to have guard is something like chaos, which does not have guard anymore, and dwarves
And,
who also don't have
and
guard.
you save 50k, no, not 50k, but you save 40k on a leader reroll in the Chameleon Skink now.
Yeah.
Like,
But
that already offsets all the Saurus almost.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you can't get the leader on the sources anymore, which I think is a sort of interesting thing. But yeah.
But you can break tackle on a tree with Saurus now.
Yeah, I think that is definitely going to be a more interesting aspect of it.
And a 2 with a Croxigor. You can technically 5+ try to 5+ they cage dive into a cage with a Croxigor. And if he has dodge, you reroll that.
Can't get
So,
dodge
yeah.
because he doesn't have. Oh no, he does have access.
Yes.
He has
Has
access to agility.
Dwarfs don't have agility with a Croxigor.
I mean, it's going to take like his TV is going to be insane though, isn't it? Like if you take block, dodge, break, tackle, that's going to be a very expensive procs. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think lizards will definitely have a TV issue. I think you're probably right, Archangel, particularly if you can't keep chameleons alive and you can't score on them. I do though think potentially you could say that the passing game is open to them now.
Yeah.
Yes.
As well.
Definitely.
It's huge.
Because you've got obviously the access of passing on general. You stick your chameleon into your MVP along with 5 of your Saurus.
We haven't even talked about secure the ball yet.
No,
we haven't even done that either. But yeah, I think lizards are going to be fine.
I still think they're going to be functional, but I think currently they were one of the, in at least my opinion, perpetual leagues, one of the better teams. I don't think they're still gonna be in the top, but I don't think they're gonna be as high as they used to be. Also because there's just more contenders for that spots also. But I think the thing that I'm gonna be most interested to see is the old Lizardmen teams were very focused around the Sauruses doing their job and then the skink picking up the slack. I think there's going to be a much more focus on the skinks need to do work and the Sauruses helps. So I think that change in dynamic of how the roles in the team is going to change. I think it's going to be massive. Because you can't, I don't think, make a functional Lizardman team anymore without having functional skinks. They're going to need to do more of the work, and they can. They got skills now for it, and they got access to the skills that they need to do.
Stats are cheaper.
Exactly. So I think definitely skinks are going to be of more importance to the Lizardmen than they used to be, and the Sauruses are going to take a less role in the spotlight than they used to, which I think is also good, because one of the key problems with playing Lizardmen was also always like, oh, you get 2 MNGs and 2 of your Sauruses, well, there goes next match, right? Because there was just no way of really working.
MNG, snowball.
Yeah,
but like Mark said, you can get movement and edge. Yeah, that's 50k TV, and you have a movement 9 always dodges on a 2 skink.
So like I said, I think I don't remember if that was before the stream or on the stream. Like I said, I think agility going down to 30k is gonna be an issue. I think it should definitely have gone up to 50k instead. I think there's so many things that if they get that one AG the 30, like also the whole this goes back to a broader issue, but it is like, oh, you get a skill for 20k. Well, you can also just get a setup. So why take accuracy? Why take a cannoneer? Well, you could just take the setup instead. It's cheaper. It's better. Why wouldn't you? Well, it costs a bit more star player points. Fair enough. Anyways, separate issue.
Yeah, that was going to be my thing. It's going to take you longer to get there. You might just find that in a league where you're going to have to redraft, you're probably better just taking the thing that you can get sooner, so you can win some games. So I think we've covered all of the major ones. We haven't touched on dwarves yet. I think we reserve a special place for dwarves later
in our hearts.
I mean, should we just do dwarves now? Because I just think, I was going to say, I would probably say this dwarf team is probably my second most exciting thing about this
Wow.
rule set.
Wow, I'll take.
I think they are moderately interesting now.
I will
Would
be
you take a death roller?
I will be the counterpoint. Say they're even more sad now than they used to be.
Oh, I think they are in. I think they're interesting. I think you have to, that you are not going to block a guard spam. You're not going to mighty blow spam. You're actually going to have to think about how you build this team. You're going to have to find. I think you have to find now a plan B with dwarves. You have to find one. That might be that you have to foul with the death roller. But you can't just rely on just killing everything in order to roll down the field and win 1-0. Because I don't necessarily think that is as viable just because of like TV. But I think that I'm so excited for this dwarf team. I would consider playing them.
So it's really interesting to me because I'm exactly of the opposite opinion. So I would, in the current rules, play dwarves more as a challenge to me than anything else, because I still thought they are so at the middle of the road a team in the current version that you need to play really out of the ordinary to compete with other teams when things are not going your way. With this version, I think if you go to, I think it was Lost in Despair, who played basically a dwarf team that will be basically this. He had 2 runners who had sneak, get, and dirty player. So basically what he did was he would put players on the ground and then he would foul them off the field. That's what you're going to see. So you basically turn dwarves more into Black Orcs. You're going to see them just putting stuff on the ground and then foul it off the field. And at least and for my point of view, and this is purely subjective, I think that is a much more sad and boring way of playing the game, because you now just going to rely on removals. That is your only path forward. You're not going to win with these dwarfs if you're not making removals. You are even more reliant on removals now.
You're more reliant on the blitzers as well.
Oh yeah, I think the blitzers. I love the blitzers. Love them. They're so good. Block, dive, and tackle.
But the problem is exactly. I fully agree. You are going to be relying on those 2 blitzers. They used to be not something you want to bring. Now you have to bring them. The problem is also you only get to bring 2, and that's not going to be enough.
Now you have to bring the blitzers and the troll slayers.
Oh,
that meta of the Lino dwarfs is dead.
Oh yeah. No, I pretty like the only like we talked about the wood elves. Like the question was, do you bring tree men? Like the only question is going to be for dwarves now is you're going to bring the death roller. That's basically it. I think it's I don't. Yeah.
A dwarf lineman with shadowing.
I guess that's. I'm. That is definitely going to be a thing. I guarantee you that will be a thing. I think that is definitely going to be a thing. I also
4+, they fight you.
I love that.
My main concern is more also a question of like for the overall meta. I know that dodge has become an elite skill, but Amazons have been a nuisance in the current rule set, and funny enough, been on a special tier of in all NAF rules just to compensate for certain, let's say, issues with that. Now we're taking the only team that was sort of the hard counter to dodge. Oh, and we nerfed the shit out of them by moving their tackle. What do you think is going to happen to dodge teams? Oh, they're going to have so much fun and laughing even more now. And I think that is an issue. But that is...
The Amazons is a team full of elite skills.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
But they're also a team which, if you look at it from a different point of view, dodge has become more worth, and tackle is and yet they're somehow still the same cost.
I think Amazons are still going to suffer from being low EV in progression. In tournament, they're going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Tier 0 almost.
Yeah,
but in progression, I don't think so.
I think they really should have taken the line women and make them 55k. Really needed to go up in price.
Yeah, they needed to cost more.
Yeah,
everyone agrees with that one.
Yeah,
like I don't know anyone that doesn't agree.
No.
And they're gonna still be the one of the strongest teams in at least in tournament. They're tier 0. Like if you take Amazons, you deserve to be at the door.
So generally for tournaments, if you want to be unpopular by the other people at tournaments, at least where I'm from, bring Amazons or bring Dwarfs. You're not gonna make a lot of friends that weekend.
Nope.
That changes my plan then for the UKBBL TT.
But I'm glad that Undead are a counter team to Amazons now. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Gav saying a couple of eye gouging line dwarfs, and you're laughing.
Yeah, eye gouge, defensive eye gouge dwarves. Even cancels guard on multiple levels.
I think dwarves are now interesting. I disagree with you, Archangel. I see your point. I disagree with your point. But
I think, yeah.
I was going to say,
I think people are overestimating.
I would have much more hope to see, like, this is like given the drunk card, like making them what is called going for it harder, and then just allowing them to pass the first test, meaning that they can technically move it a little bit more, but they are still not increasing their max speed and making it actually more volatile to move faster. I think would have been a much better step. Also more thematic, because Dwarf being drunk, what are the odds of that? So thereby increasing their movement on short scale and making them much more something that can actually move around the table. The biggest problem for dwarves is always going to be their form movement. You can't shift, and especially with the new like increase of everyone can pass the ball, everyone can like dwarf is going to get out of position so quickly, and now they can't kill stuff. So well, we gotta have to follow stuff. Anyways, I should be. These are the best rules Givi has ever made. The rules are perfect. Let's stay in subject before.
don't be that person. Don't be that person. So this is the bit where you get to moan. I'm going to give you permission to moan now, Archangel, because the next section is the teams that have been left behind in League format. I think maybe we don't necessarily look at the teams that have been spoken about already. But what teams do you think look like they've been left behind?
So I think for me the biggest one is halflings. It's got to be halflings.
Sweet little halflings.
They sucked before, and by comparison, that everything else now has become better, more or less. Like I feel like overall, if you look at the teams, most of them have been lifted up to a more equal competitive level. Dark Elves have been brought down a little bit, which I think is perfectly fine. I think maybe Amazon should have been the same. I'm a little bit concerned about what they did with from a balance point of view level, what they did with Undead in Necromancer. But I think I will wait to call judgment on that to be sure, because there's so many changes to TD that they might still be okay balanced. But that just leaves even Goblins got quite a huge. What did the Halflings get? Halflings really needed some help. They lost access to Griff. Anyone care to explain?
Jordel? Yeah, Jordel, no.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we also have these halflings. I don't know if it's just like because gnomes are now just gonna be the replacement of halflings, but they just have the balls to remove them as an option. I don't know. It just feels like what happened here, boys? Like, can someone please explain to me what's going on for the halflings?
There's a huge buff that you're forgetting that you can pass and throw teammate in the same turn now.
True. And you can make them into living projectiles and stuff like that. True.
You can give bullseye to a tree, and you can attack the ball on a 4+, like directly.
Just
You just buy hopefuls until 14 of them get 2 trees and just artillery the other team.
I'll have to come back to eye gouge in a minute because again I can hear Gav screaming in the chat about eye gouge. Just about halflings. They just needed to give them. If they'd have given them access to Devious, I think I'd have been mildly happy. They just gave them nothing, nothing at all.
I think this has been a thing of my idea sort of for a while. Is sort of like not a full break tackle, but something similar. Like on the first dodge roll, not even on the reroll, but the first dodge roll that a halfling does every turn, he gets to do it on 2+. So making them a little bit more reliant to be actually able to get out of trouble and get to the right spots, because they have less movement in goblins too. So you both have less movement. You are just as likely to fall over your own shoes, but just give them that little bit of an edge, which like, yeah, you can actually, like, you're not a itchy player and you do 2+ on all rolls, but like just on the first roll, and it's like that makes them much more able to not get pummeled every turn. But we've got nothing. Anyways,
This is going to feel like the roster of like if you were playing like Call of Duty and you put it onto ultra hard mode, and like any time you get caught, your character is dead. This feels like that roster. If you want to play ultra hard Blood Bowl and try and not lose 4-0,
yeah,
this is the roster for you. This is definitely the team you should play.
So I have a trackball mouse. Try playing a first-person shooter with that. That's sort of like what Halflings feels like. You can definitely do it.
Any reason not to,
but yeah,
don't see any reason to take halflings over goblins now.
Goblins are not fully competitive, but they're you can actually play like they're gonna be a threat. Halfling is gonna be a bad joke.
Meme team.
Yeah.
The star player team.
With less star players, but yes.
Yes. They have elves now for star players.
Yeah. Should we have a look at some of the other teams, or
I think Tector was next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was next. I got distracted by stuff about eye gouging, so no, I think Pro-Elves are the worst.
Yeah.
One of the worst elves now.
Elven Union.
Elven Union.
Don't insult Gav's high elves, he'll get really cross.
Well, if he's offended, he can fumble Ruski his own opinion in the ground.
No, it might be the fumble Ruski is just much better than I anticipated to be, because I've never seen it used before. It's almost a new skill for me, but it does look great.
I just think, when we were talking about this beforehand, I think Archangel hit it on the head. So the linemen have been increased in price by 5k. And for that 5k increase, they've been given a skill that allows you to roll more dice.
Yay.
there's going to be some very unhappy Elven Union tournament players out there.
So I think the easiest one-to-one comparison you can do is you take a lineman from the 3 Elven teams and ignore how we're waiting for the real rules to come out, right? They cost the same. So they should be fairly easy to compare. And you go like, Dark Elf, what do you get? You get a extra armor value. That's nice. Wood Elf, what do you get? Oh, I get extra movement. That's really nice. So Pro Elves, what do you get? We get a skill that no one wanted to pick before. It still might be useful if we were really lucky. Okay. I'll pick anything but the Pro Elf, right? And I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, well, they're the miracle play team now. There's the ball is in the other side of the pitch. I have fortunately a chain of linemen and a chain of throwers, and I'm gonna do a miracle play.
It's gonna definitely it's gonna be more of the style of, lack of better word for it, like vampires currently, right? Like if you can roll the dice, you can do anything with these people. I'm not disputing that, but the problem is more if I start looking at it long term and go like, well, you need to roll dice for this. You need to pay the team value. It's going to bring more opposition onto the field. I think you're gonna struggle. I think the Hail Mary pass is a nice. Do I think that it fixes the problem? No. Do I think diving catch is nice? Yes. Does it fix the problem? No. Do I think losing the 2 catchers is huge? Not necessarily. I'm not so concerned about that. But I think the bigger problem is because you are going to have at minimum at 5, right? So that's minimum of 25k, more expensive for the same team, more or less, right? Just the main perk of the linos of the Pro Elves in the past was that they were cheaper, they were more expendable. You could more sacrifice them. You can't do that.
And you also lose access to fouling on linemen, right? Because before, when they were cheap, they actually had a decent fouling chance.
Yeah.
But now they don't.
They don't even have a devious access.
Any access. Yeah, no access.
No.
Yeah, just looking at Hail Mary pass and diving catch, you already know what they were trying to do. Basically.
Oh yeah.
Explains the team.
Yeah.
Like, oh, funny. Like,
no,
they're not serious elves anymore.
No, it's circus elves.
It's circus. It's Kislev elves.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if they just even if they just gave them Fend or like Wrestle would be overpowered maybe, but give them a skill that was actually useful. Like make me go like movement is nice, armor is nice, but Fend, Wrestle
in all the linos.
Oh, sidestep
linos.
Oh, okay. Then I would be playing
everyone.
Pro Elves. Then I would be playing Pro Elves.
It will become the sidestep team.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the problem is that skill. It's not so much that skill can't compare to movement or armor value. It's just that skill can't.
I don't know. I think they came back angry on a Friday night. They lost money at the bar and they're like, I'm gonna do the Elven Union team today. Gonna put Belaruski and Hail Mary pass.
It just seems like Elven
that's
Union.
what the people want.
No one likes Elven Union anyway.
I quite like Elven Union.
As a former Elven Union coach, I say that those 5k on the linos are a massive change. Massive.
Especially because one of the reasons when I played Pro Elves at leagues or tournaments and stuff like that was because exactly you could have that extra elf. You could actually bring 13 elf and still be at a decent team value. And that brought some different like options because you had a little bit more, I would say, warm bodies to throw at your problems. Whereas now you're not going to have that. You're going to be having to solve your problems the same way as everyone else.
You're a less splashy Dark Elf team and you're a worse play on the ball as a Wood Elf team. So you're just, you're there.
Yeah.
I think I can go next probably.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out in terms of bad teams. It's not in the game yet, but Bretonians are not so great. I hope for more. Because we all remember the Blood Bowl 2 Bretonians and well, it's a UK league, so you can't have a UK league discussion without mentioning Bretts, it would be rude. The wrestle on the Linos is good. Like next year we might get them with the release of the new Warhammer Blood Bowl or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But the catches and the throwers are so meh. Like the throwers are just kind of bad. You take one and that's most of it. But the catchers should at least have dodge from the start. They're so weak right now. It's gonna be. I'm still gonna play them. I'm still gonna buy the team, but I only gonna play them in tournaments because I know they'll be lower tier, so they'll get a lot of things and can be like a grief carry, Yeah. But now speaking more rule set that we have now, humans have been my first main team has been kind of, let's just say, butchered.
I would put it this way: they needed a buff, they got a nerf. This is at least my
huge nerf. Like they got the main thing when humans is that you had at least you had ogre and 4 beetles with strength access. Now you have an ogre that might or might not have mutations.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And we're still confirming if that's like a printing error or not. Some people say it is, some people say it does. It's not. It's still in the air.
I think it's a copy paste error, but I could.
Yeah. It's in the rulebook. It says mutations.
Yeah, but yeah.
But now you have like what three access to strength. Like of course you have a worse thrower for no reason.
I think of all the deadly sins they did it is exactly the thrower. Like the blitzers, I think is definitely harmful. But if we look overall, that there's probably going to be less guard around. I think that can more or less be survived that way around. If you could then just play ball, but then it's like, oh, we gonna also take your ball abilities away from you, and it's like, no. This is so. I've been playing Blood Bowl for a long time, and back in the old days, there was humans and there was orcs in it, and you sort of had two like average teams. One was tilted slightly to more bashy, and then one team was tilted slightly towards more ball play. Right? It seems fairly average. It never was balanced, but it was, at least that was sort of the idea. And I think the problem with humans now again is like it's still like, if you gonna tilt them towards being a ball team, you're gonna have to make them more reliable as a ball team, because it is their go-to way of winning in most cases, and it's just not good enough. Because
like if you're a human team and you go against orcs, you just curl up on a corner and cry, basically.
So I was of the opinion that orcs should be nerfed and humans should be buffed. And what I almost think that we have gotten is the reverse, where it's like orcs who have been buffed and humans who's been nerfed. And I think that makes me sad.
I think 50% of the rulebook's energy was like, oh crap, we have to take 2 vegans and 2 blitzers from the orcs. How do we make these people not cry and not like try to kill us?
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
because I've seen some wild Reddit posts on before the rulebook was leaked.
Yeah,
it was like GW divorced them and took the house and the dog.
I think a tiny bit like the Dark Elves. I think there's going to be a big backlash that is going to be largely undeserved. I think towards the orcs specifically. For example, I think orcs are actually, especially with the new meta coming up, I think they're going to be better than they used to be. And I'm slightly was hoping for the other thing. Like even like, why the F did the orcs get team captain? Like, I get why humans got that. That makes sense, but why did orcs get that too? Like that just seems like a superfluous bonus they also got, because why not? Like orcs basically got all they wanted. Like we wanted more movement on the thrower. We got that. We got more passing abilities. We got that. We get more lovely skills. Yes, we don't get as many positionals. Wow, we now have to pick a troll which is actually decent. Wow, that's really sad, right?
The thrower lost animosity and passes as
Oh yeah,
well as the orc thrower is as good as a human thrower
yeah,
and the same cost.
yeah. No, no.
Like crazy. And team captain, just put team captain on a beacon.
Yeah.
Pro mighty blow taunt, thick skull. Good luck removing this player from the pitch. Then you can roll sixes on the rerolls to just get free rerolls.
Yeah.
It's bonkers. In progression, it's gonna be bonkers. You take the troll now, but now the troll still has loner, I think.
Yeah. At least he didn't get the gobbling a boost of losing the lunar skill,
don't think
which
they got the goblin. No, they still a 4+, but now you take them because of the not necessarily because Linos have. That's the other thing. Linos have strength access,
yeah, which is
which
again
is bonkers. Also,
That's the worst change that I've done to orcs.
that's
Just going back a little bit again. Another good point from chat is because humans are essentially being split into different races. So you've obviously got Bretts, you've got Imperial nobility, you've got Norse as well. So you'll get different regions of like the Empire and human teams. So whether the human team actually has a space in the game eventually, whether they may just be phased out.
I think they're sort of struggling with the same problem with the Pro Elves, which is sort of like it falls in between the chairs of the others. So you can get, let's call it full bred elves in different colors and shapes, or you can take the mixed bag of Pro Elves, which is sort of like what humans are. It's the mixed bag of Brits and Norse and all the others, right? And it's sort of like, but what should we do with these guys then? I don't know. Let's just nerf them and forget them.
I mean, that might be the plan. If you make them tough to play, you might not sell us. Well, no, let's not go down conspiracy theory routes. I
let's not go down the.
almost did. I'm very upset though. Why Gav is saying undead should be gone.
Yeah,
And like, there's no reason to play undead now. Just play necro. Why you're playing undead?
I think actually undead is in one certain ways been stronger now. I don't get why some pieces
Necro got cheaper. And Necro have the same position. The only thing that undead had over Necro was the 4 ghouls. Now it's just gone.
I think in my opinion, zombies should have movement free.
Oof, that's a.
Oh yes, that needs to be a big like you gave them a like okay unsteady. Don't get me wrong, but that doesn't matter at all. Like that is the most unimportant skill change to them at all, right? And you gave them 6+ passing, also doesn't really matter. But giving them eye gouge and just going like, yep, now you are even better than skeletons more than you used to be, and it's just like no, wrong direction, boys. Don't. And the goals was regeneration. The whole regeneration.
I wonder whether
separate issue.
I just put this in chat. I wonder whether you do some of these teams that kind of almost look like they come from maybe an earlier era of Blood Bowl where you kind of had your undead team. Maybe that actually becomes like undead alliance, and then you have a human alliance. And you could possibly change the rules then to kind of match that. You've obviously got an Elven Union, which we've spoken about. It would be nice though if the Elven Union team was actually a union of the elf teams.
Yeah.
So you could have like a war dancer, or it's like a war dancer or a witch elf, something like that. That would be a cool change to make. You could probably do that. I wonder whether that's something that they might do in the future. So Union, undead, humans, they all get replaced with a a Gavsan
Elves,
high elf
elves
with
are
another
harder
plague.
to lore-wise to justify being
So if you
alliance.
actually go back and read the original for Pro Elf, there was actually quite a few high elves with those. The whole point is that it is basically they're giving up on their national allegiance and are just playing for money. That's why they're called pro elves, and then Elven Union was a politer way of putting it. But they're basically mercenary elves from all the different other races who have been outcast for various reasons, and then over time they have changed the law and blah blah blah. But I think that makes sense in the way that they shouldn't then look like another alliance team or a mixed back team. I think that sort of thing would be, at least in my opinion, a sort of step in the wrong direction. But I can sort of see that here. I can much better see that with the undead. That it would also be much more interesting seeing like, oh, you get one mummy, you get one vampire, you get one witch, you get one ghoul, you get one like that could be a really interesting team, I think. Whereas right now they're sort of stuck in a legacy issue where it's like, yeah, this is the first step that we had of making undead. And now we're sort of stuck with them. Sort of like the same issue with humans, right?
Can we
Yeah.
pivot because we haven't got that long left.
No.
I don't know whether Waldorf's still in the
Yeah,
chat.
sure.
I think it's worth talking about his beloved gnomes, to be honest. Now I know that obviously, I know that they're not in Blood Bowl 3, but will be at some point. So I think they take a bit of a hit, because of the elite skill access. Obviously, they become a lot better once you're able to put dodge on them. That's the first skill that they're going to take because they will have agility access. They've just become more expensive, and they're stunty. Oh, and their armor value's pretty pants.
Abysmal.
So
I've done a run with them on Fumble, and they're abysmal at the start. You don't have dodge, and you just get murdered.
I think, in all fairness, because of the tax on dodge, I think they're gonna struggle more, because you're gonna have to have like whereas at least wrestle is an alternative to block, and you can sort of like at least reduce somewhat in that direction, and guard you can be more selective about it, and you can actually, like, if you just get one mighty blow, you might actually be fine. Two is more of a backup, right? That's not a huge increase. Like here, you're still looking at many dodge skills that you want to place, right? And I think, oh, that's gonna be a issue.
You might try, spam hit and run instead of dodge. Just
Yeah,
instead of dodging away, you can just hit. Even uphill block with wrestle is
Yeah.
very good.
There's a typo. There's a typo there. Beastmasters don't get primary passing.
Okay.
I had to double check that one.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
gnomes
run-
will probably be okay in they'll still be okay in tournaments. I think Gav's probably right because you can probably still put 4 of your elite skills on the right players you want. But I think
The
they've gone from
Beastmasters.
being they've gone from being, I think, possibly serviceable when they come into Blood Bowl 3 to being tough. I think you could, when they came in, there was a lot of rule sets that were putting gnomes kind of like one tier above the stunties. They'll be in with the stunties now.
Yeah, they got worse. If Coleman was saying, if the rules about elite skills transferring to the tournaments, gnomes are also kind of nerfed.
Yeah,
You can't take 8 dodge anymore.
So I think on the stunted grading scales of things, I think goblins have become almost, I would say, a non-stunted team in the sense that they are like of power level. They're not comparable to the other stunted teams anymore.
No.
And halflings even sunk deeper into the mud, and I think gnomes sort of got a little bit more in the direction of halflings, and they used to be more comparatively to the current goblins, or the coming goblins, sorry to say, and they're going to be more like the coming halflings now.
I think Snotlings are also very good quantity now. The Vegans lost secret weapons, so you will also have 4 times 5 players on the team. That's pretty good. And they were already a fairly competitive standard team. So
I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what the insignificant skill that they get on the linemen is going to mean for building of the teams. Because
I don't think it will mean much, because you will still have pretty much most positions. You got 2 pump wagons, 2 tank trolls, runners, hoppers, 1 flinker, and that's what already 4, 8, 9 players, more than half.
So I'm just thinking like exactly like that. You're gonna run up the tally of positionals pretty quick, and that means also an alignment, and then you more or less filled your roster. But yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about these lot. So I had to play. So Loserville, who's in in the UKBBL, was running a horrific low-cost snotling roster that went unbeaten in our tabletop season. He walloped me 2-0 in our semi-final and murdered almost every dark elf he could lay his hands on, with Morg and Hackflem. So feel glad, everybody, that we can't run against a load of snotlings.
So just quickly having a look, like one of the things that I also think is going to be a huge difference is the reduction in a lot of the star players, what they will play for. I think that's also going to change, and Hackflame is a good example of that, and also
if you're gonna talk about star players, we need another podcast.
Well, I will gladly book that. It will not be for tomorrow, but we can definitely do that.
Jesus Christ, what a circus that is!
Let's put it this way: as questionable as they are making rosters, the ability to make star players is bonkers. It's really bonkers.
They're all full field rage to make those star players. Jesus.
Yes.
Phil, let's just move on before.
I was going to say, what is the next subject that we need to touch on before we close?
It's better.
Well, I think I'm just trying to make sure that I cover all of the things in the chat as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Mad Cat PT, who we're going to see at the UKBBL TT, I think. Snotlings are his favourite team. I just have really bad memories of Snotlings now.
It's called trauma.
Yeah,
it's called trauma.
It is a trauma. That is like legitimate. I love Loserville. I think he's a great guy, but he gave me my worst experience of a tabletop game I think I've ever had. It was horrible. Anyway, so the next thing is in about 2 minutes, but I suspect we can go a little bit. Well, I'm happy to go a little bit longer. Should be our most exciting change, and then our final remarks. What's our most exciting change, gents?
So
Tiki Kitty's dead. Pop-up champagne.
I think for me it's probably the random that they're now full cost. I think that is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, because I think it will make the game much more balanced, and also it will push team values upward, which I think is a good thing. I think the elite skill is going to definitely tilt the balance towards more playing and positioning than bashing, which I think is a good thing. The reduction of fouling, in the sense that Sneaky Kid doesn't protect you when you break armor, is also going to push the game in the right direction. Again, it's not just about fouling every piece off the field. So overall, the shift in tone from less bash heavy focused game where playing the ball in position was the thing you did after you did your removals, and focusing more on the positioning and playing, I think is overall the biggest shift that I see, which I'm really happy about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
stalling.
said that.
We still have to see how stalling affects gameplay, but
Oh
it
no,
can be a huge.
worst skill, worst rule, worst rule ever. Anyways, separate.
So I was going to say with my one, I was going to say I think there's probably a lot of people who are excited with stalling. I just think it's going to change how people position, and you'll see a lot more coaches sitting on the halfway line, and then making a break to score on turn 8, on turn 6, and I think that's all you'll
Yeah.
see. I don't think there'll
It
be
will-
anything that will change.
It will impact the newer coaches. The experienced ones will just play around it.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't necessarily think that's
And
although
that's
it's a
what
change, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference to
and
the way the game is played.
and I think that's probably the reason why I hate it the most, because it is gonna be. It was at least the initial people that I talked about when I saw it and my feelings towards it. It was like, well, it's to protect the newer players, and it's like it's gonna do exactly the opposite. It's gonna hurt the newer players. It's gonna make them even more like, okay, this game sucks. When they finally figure out that they shouldn't score as quickly as possible, they're gonna get blindsided by a rule that's gonna feel so bad and so stupid. And if I was a new player and new to this, that would make me not want to play the game again more than anything else.
That's why they need to come and play in the UKBBL, and we'll teach them all these lovely things.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
then they can have a great time with us. My thing that I'm most excited about is the new prayers to Nuffle table. I think that's great.
There's some
not sure.
spicy ones there.
Oh yeah, and again, I'm looking at this with my elf hat on. Oh my god, it looks so good. It's just lots of ways for me to get star player points and do cool things. It just looks really good. I really like it, and the fact that it now lasts for the whole game, and the fact that you can buy it for 10k. You finally have something to spend your money on if you have 10k in inducements.
I love the cost of 10k, where it's like it makes any inducement, like this goes back to the TV differences being more important now, because you can get like in the old days, like you need to not hit 50, you need to not hit 100, probably not 150 either, right? Like that was sort of like the magical numbers, whereas like now it's going to be like, yeah, any difference is going to matter because it can't do something now, and I think that in a sense is really good. I goes back to this thing about, like we talked about earlier, upgrades going to be cheaper. We're going to get more ways to get star player points. We're going to see players grow much faster, and we're going to see also that the team value is going to inflate quicker over seasons, which is going to be really interesting combined with the redraft, right?
I think you'll see a lot more differences in kind of traditional TV levels as well. So where teams kind of normally get to, and this is why I think Wood Elves have been buffed, because you're probably not taking a lot of the elite skills. So I think that you're not going to take a lot of dodge, because the players who've got dodge have already got it, and the people you're going to take block on have already got it. You'll be just taking lots of wrestle and lots of sidestep, and then some other skills that will be useful.
Hit and run.
Hit and run, obviously. That's going to be mental on a war dancer. Movement 9, hit and run. Who needs leap? Like, it's just going to be good. I do like the MVP change as well. I think that's probably the last thing I would say. I think it's going to make a massive difference to those slow grind chaos teams who are going to be able to go, I'm just going to whack all 4 of my blockers in that pick and hope that one of them comes out, which you will in
and we didn't even talk about Chaos Chosen.
No.
Talk about disarming a team.
Yeah, they're in a weird place.
They're in a very weird place.
And to be fair, like Gav was trying, I think, for about 20 minutes to explain how eye gouging on chain pushes work. And he has offered to explain it to the UKBBL. So, but
I think that's going to be errated, but okay.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make sense with. So the debate there is that if you chain push with an eye gouge player into your opponent's player, who then chain pushes into your own player, who then pushes someone else, you can then eye gouge them both, because it's about you chain pushing with your player, or you're pushing with your player into another opponent's player.
So I blind the first player, and the first player flails, and I gouges his teammate. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit suspicious, but we'll see. Games Workshop are not exactly known for erratas.
It's cool. I'm not sure. I think you have to be an extremely good player to kind of get it all set up. But again, I'm willing to be educated. I want to get better. So if I can chain push eye gouges in to turn guard off, I'll learn how to do it. That'll be pretty cool.
I think that's going to be errated, but we'll see. These first months of rule set are always anarchy. Okay.
Has anyone got?
We had a final point,
changes?
or
Well, yeah. Final remarks. Anyone wants to say anything else?
These rules are perfect. Games Workshop is the best company that exists. They never make any flaws. We love this.
Stop it. Stop it.
You told me to be positive.
No, I said I didn't say be condescending. I said don't spend 2 hours on a stream whinging and moaning about all the things you don't like. Which, to be fair, you've been very good, Archangel. You've been extremely good, and
we're technically over the 2 hours, so
yeah.
Oh, so it's like free for all now, is it?
Yeah. We're gonna have to errata this podcast.
I think there's going to be a lot of very, very good. I mean, essentially, we all play Blood Bowl because we like puzzles, right? I mean, Blood Bowl is basically a big puzzle game with dice, and this presents us with a new puzzle. And I don't think there's anything better than that, really. If you were looking at it, players who've been used to kind of dominating, if they've kind of had their team, are going to now have to either learn how to play something different, or they're going to have to change the way they play. I think that's really good. So I think there's a lot to like in this. A lot to like.
Overall, I think the changes on average are in the right directions. There are still things where I go, maybe, but overall, I think this is a shift in the right direction. That there's like take halflings as a good example. There's still things where I go like, what happened here? But overall, there's like most of the things moved in the right directions, and maybe only my pet issue with Archie the Call is the biggest issue that I currently have, which is saying something, right? Stalling, I think is just sad for new players, but overall, like many of the changes are in the right direction. So overall, I think we're also gonna see that once, how to say, the panic over the changes to certain rosters, say Dark Elves and Orcs especially, right? I think they're gonna find out that it's actually still quite functional and it's not as horrible as they think it is. But
I'm quite excited to try two blitzers, 2 witches, try a runner and try both assassins. I'm quite excited to try that.
It's exciting times. Like people can. It's if you're gonna experiment with Blood Bowl, now is the time. Go crazy. Make the most meme stupid. Like, I just want to play for fun, Bill. You can. Like, it's not a time to be competitive. It's a time to have fun. You can be competitive in 2 when everyone knows what everyone takes, and that's it.
So, I think also, and Blood Bowl, for like any other game system, whether it be computer games, board games, or whatever, the problem is also if you play a lot of it, the meta stagnates. It will always do that, regardless of whatever system you're looking at, because people get set in their ways and people figure out all the loopholes and all the little cracks there is in the rules. So we definitely needed a shake-up. Will new cracks appear over time? Eventually, it will happen. It's guaranteed. But there will be new cracks, and they will need to be found. So go make meme teams. Go try everything. And like you said, like it's the perfect time to come in, because there's not so many right and wrong ways of doing stuff currently. There will be, but currently with this new system, there will not be. At least not for a while, I think.
I'm just slightly afraid of we're gonna get startup Blood Bowl, but that's a problem for future us.
So last thing, one word answer. If you had any team on Blood Bowl 3 and the new season is launched, what are you playing?
Undead still, but I would say just play Necro. I just play Undead because they're my team and they're like kind of underdog team, so it's double whammy for me. So
That was what I was looking for. You'd want to play Undead. Angel?
Never going back to orcs for a long time. I'm so fed up of my orcs. It's hilarious. It's probably gonna be elves. I just like elves. What color shape elves? I don't really care. Probably not gonna be pro elves, or maybe just for the shits and giggles, exactly of making them work somehow. But I'm really curious to see when high elf comes out and how they will exactly work in the new, because I have a sweet weak spot for high elves.
same.
Tector, what would you... Blood Bowl 3, what would you play?
I think Dark Elves for me. I'm very excited for Assassins.
Yeah, I was going to say it's at this stage, it's probably Dark Elves or Wood Elves. It's one of those two. I refuse to play Bash.
Or, Necromantic and just eye gouge everybody, which is also fine. Because with Frenzy, you can eye gouge 3 opponents on 1 Blitz. It's incredible.
Yeah. Cool. Should we do a plug-in for the next 2 broadcasts and maybe also hint that there might be a follow-up about star players? We'll see.
Well, I think the first thing we should say, I think, is if you want to, and I've lost track of who has signed up for this. I think Tector has as well. Tector, you signed up to UKBBL TT.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So, folks, if you want to come and meet these 4 special people who've been doing this broadcast, and we're all cool people, come and see us and the other cool people who play in the UKBBL on the 7th and 8th of March in San Diego, just off the M1 by Nottingham, and come and play 5 games of Blood Bowl and some board games in the evening. Gav can teach you how to play Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, which is a great game.
Yes,
it's a great game.
I will do a small plug-in for we have the season end of this season and the current rule set with the current teams that we have coming up next week, and the following week of that we have the final grand final of the FA Cup before we go into the playoff matches, and we probably also will have a star player maybe show. So there's definitely more shows coming up. So we'll probably be seeing a lot of each other in the near future. But yeah. Any of you two want to plug something?
I just want to plug the Portuguese tabletop community. Probably the only reason I'm still playing Blood Bowl is those guys, those drunken guys.
Are you
and it's
saying
been a lot of fun.
One of the reasons that you play Blood Bowl, Galentio? Surely we're one of them.
I'll be honest. At the start of last year, I was very done. Not the end of last year. I was very done with Blood Bowl almost. And tabletop just gave me a new life, basically.
I love that.
Not like you've always been amazing league, amazing people in this league. Always had fun. But yeah, I was almost quitting Blood Bowl if it was not for tabletop. And sending a shout out to my team in the coming months, the Chupistas representing, so they'll know who they are.
Cool.
I would also like to express at least thanks from my side and probably a lot more people for the lovely website you made. It's quite useful
100%. Yeah.
for many of the things.
I regret it every day.
Sounds like a true programmer.
I use it to work out whether I'm about to win or lose my game that I'm playing. If I ever go on the arena, I look at it and I go, I'm about to lose this game.
Yeah.
This player is probably just much better than I am.
You go to the coach stats.
Oh, yeah. I use that. That is so good. If anyone wants to look at a pure Blood Bowl coach stat, go and look at mine. There's nothing in Bash, or it's very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon Archangel could put it up for giggles because he's on the screen. Just go and put mine in. So
Yeah,
that's
you
not
have,
me. That's not me. That's disgusting. Right? This is what a proper one should look like. You can't even spell my name. P-H-I-L-P-O-T.
I'm dyslexic.
That's true, to be fair.
Let's see. Okay, my website is good.
Now
You can find you. No,
That is what it should look like. Actually, no, to be fair, if you're a proper coach, the spike is towards the left or towards the right. Sorry. If you're a proper coach, it's definitely towards the right.
To the right. It's
100%.
Udlegard as totally to the right. It's almost a line to the right. Oh no, I'm gonna get shamed.
Boo.
65. That is wow. That is well done.
Disgusting. Only 2 games as Dark Elves. Disgraceful.
And I think I've won both.
You won one and
Like
drew
one
one.
and yeah. I'm actually quite good with Dark Elves. I just get bored.
I will accept that from Tector. I think that is acceptable because the spikes are pretty big, both sides.
Yeah.
That's
Lizard
pretty
Men are in a weird spot in terms of gameplay because you have the skinks and then the bash and the stunty.
I love Mathimus's comment. Leave it to the elf coach to be this elitist about it. Thematically appropriate. Yeah. I'm just cosplaying my role that I've assigned myself.
At least I still have a bit of hybrid, not like certain people.
At least my spike for dwarves is not the biggest anymore.
350 games as bloody orcs.
Yeah, well, something like that. That's also why, like I said,
Anyway.
I'm so bored of orcs.
I'm bored of playing you with orcs.
I think no. We might run into each other next season.
Anyway, we seem to have gone a bit off topic. Should we let these good people go to bed?
Oh, I think we should.
Yeah.
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 I'd quite like to go to bed and go to sleep. Another hard day.
And it's not even
teaching kids
2 a.m.
mathematics
for you.
tomorrow. This is true.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bash bugs bite.
Yeah.
Don't let Nurgle bite you.
Yeah, they won't be biting for very much longer, though, will they? If our hot takes are to be believed. Anyway,
Cool.
Over to you, Archangel. You can close up. You do it so well.
Gee, thanks. Well,
Damn.
all for listening, and hopefully we'll see everyone else soon again. And I will let the stream go somewhere else in a second. But thank you, everyone.
Professional.
So bye and thank you for all that.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.